Well, we go back a long way, and, you know, I remember he's very generous, David is, and so is Barb. But we didn't know each other for very long, but we started moving up here from Cedar Rapids, and, you know, we had to move everything from the garage, the bikes and all this stuff. So, you know, David allowed me to drive his 1950 blue Chevy pickup up to Minneapolis from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Now, that would have been the first miracle if we had made it. I think we made it, what, Owine? Yeah, about 50 miles north. And then, I can't remember if we kept on going or not, but I just wanted to say that, you know, he's very generous of his time and of his talents, and, you know, any time I ever asked him, you know, David, I got this transmission on this old car that just shot, you know? So he'd come over and we'd get into grease up to our elbows.
And beer.
And beer. And, of course, you know, we may or may not have got it fixed, you know, but we had a good time doing it. And for all the the brother-in-laws, you know, hunting has been a big thing for us. And so, even for my kids and his son, and we've had a great time over the years. And, you know, David is a man with many, many stories. You know, I mean, I've never met a guy that has such a great memory and can tell a joke and tell a story that, you know, that just stays with you and warms your heart. So, you know, I know that raising a big family is tough. You know, and Barb and Dave and Deb and I, we kind of raced each other to see who could have the largest family. One of the few things I want, you know. but we do commiserate about that, and it has its joys and it has its difficulties and troubles as well. And I know that he's faithful, and he has been faithful throughout his marriage, and faithful with his children, and faithful with his family. So, thank you very much for being a heck of a brother. And a brother. Okay.
Well, the fact that God is with us, Emmanuel, was their theme song. But just like a lot of times we get off track, but God I agonized over when they're separated. But God took hold, and He finally let me know that if I would let go, He would take care of it. And He did in an amazing way. He made the steps that made their reconciliation possible. And it came, you know, it was not on His terms, it was they had to make a decision, and they really wanted to. And I wrote this story up about 10 or 15 years ago, and it tells the miracles that God did, really, and to set up their coming back. So I think God is the hero of their story, because He set it up for them that they could come back together. And if anybody wants that story, I'm into copying it. I have copied before that. I've felt the Holy Spirit say, get this out, because this is who they really are. And so anybody wants a copy, just tell me, and I'll see that you get a copy. It's a tale of miracles. In fact, I was sharing with, in September, I was sharing with our neighbor. Bob and I were going on a retreat. And this neighbor is Lutheran, and he said, I've always talked a lot about going to a retreat, but never have. And I started to tell him about this ecumenical retreat that we went on in 1974. Which is when, and I started telling him all the things that happened. And he kept saying, that's a miracle. That's a miracle. Stephanie Severson is here. And she received a miracle. And so he got so excited about it, he came over the next day and said, "Can I have a copy of your story?" And the next thing I knew, he said, "Can I send it to all my daughters?" And we said, "Sure." So then I thought, well, gee, if they're excited, why not let Barb and Dave tell their kids too? So anyway, I had to put my 2 cents to its worth, but I want to get the story out because it doesn't matter if you know Barb and Dave, or it shows how God takes charge and sets up what He wants to have done in an amazing way.